What's going on, guys? Welcome to the first episode of my Columbus Blue Jackets franchise mode series. I had a poll for you guys asking which team I should use next. On Twitter, the Blue Jackets just barely edged out the Philadelphia Flyers there, but on YouTube, it wasn't even close. Just want to thank you guys all for voting. And as always, if you do like these franchise mode videos, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Really helps me out. So, as you guys can see here, Columbus Blue Jackets top players, Johnny Gaudreau, Zach Werenski, Patrick Laine. Those are pretty much the three guys we're building this team around. Now, kind of a tough spot, obviously real life, one of the bottom three teams in the NHL this season, but a big part of that's due to the fact that they had more injuries than anyone else. I think by far they had like the most man games missed. Still though, team there, 83 overall, is the lowest in the Metro by far, so I don't really see us compete for a Stanley Cup anytime soon, so I'm going to do my best to go full tank here for Connor Bedard, or at least, one of the top 4 picks. I think, honestly, the only teams lower rated than us are Chicago, Arizona, and that is it. So yeah, we are like, third lowest rated team there in the NHL. Shouldn't be too hard to tank, especially if we do trade away a couple guys. And as always, guys, in terms of the settings, just going to have salary cap and computer trades turned on. Everything else is off. Also, too, guys, as always, I have injuries turned off just because they are super annoying. Authentic cap penalties are on. And of course, the draft pick ownership's authentic. Trade difficulty there is set to hard just to make it, more challenging for us. People say if this computer too much as is, it was on medium. Obviously, that would be even worse. And I think I'm going to keep the sim engine scoring to medium with the shot frequency set to highs. I feel like that was pretty realistic. Sometimes a little bit lower, but usually it's pretty close. Draft class there, I honestly do like it low. I think it's more realistic drafts. You don't have, as many elite players at the top of the draft, not as many amazing steals. And then one other thing I like doing here, guys, is setting attribute effects to 9 to 10 just to hopefully get, more realistic sims with the better teams beating the worst teams, whether it be playoffs or even during the regular season. Alright, guys, so next I'm going to show you what this team is looking like. Just finished adding the lines. Obviously, like I mentioned, do have some star power on this team in Johnny Gaudreau and Patrick Laine. I've actually got Kent Johnson playing between the two. That first line's getting a +3. Now, definitely long-term, Kent Johnson I see as more of a winger than a centerman, simply because face-off stat there is not too great, only a 60. But I feel like for this first season, playing between Gaudreau and Laine should really help him in his growth. As I've seen both Gaudreau and Laine finish in top 10 in scoring before, they're a bit of a dynamic duo, so hopefully, Johnson can kind of feed off of them. You can see, like, Laine's shot there, 5 stars. Absolutely incredible. And then Johnny Gaudreau, 97 passing. His puck skills are just insane. So with Johnson in the middle, who's obviously got some sick hands of his own, should be, a pretty good first line. Now, second line here, we got the young player Chinikov, former first-round pick 2020, playing there with the captain Boone Jenner and Roslovic. Then on the third line, we got Bemstrom, Corrali, and Texier, who thinks actually returning the team this coming season in real life. And then fourth line here, we got Eric Robinson and Danforth and Olivier getting a +1. So obviously, not the best, but, the first line should at least perform like I mentioned. Defensively, it's about Werenski, and that's it. I mean, Peak's a decent, bomb pairing, shutdown guy. I did notice I made a mistake. He's supposed to have high top 6D potential. I must have went 1 over on accident. Gave him low top 6 instead, so just gonna make it even tougher. Hopefully, though, like, he's already an 80. It doesn't affect it too much. You can see very good, shot blocker, shutdown guy, which is why him and Werenski get a +5 chem boost. Werenski, of course, offensive defenseman, such a good player. I'm definitely rely on him as our #1 guy for the foreseeable future. Now we have Bean and Bokus on the second pair getting a -1. They're both offensive. Bokus, they're low elite. Bean's got to be in top 4. I'm fine with it though, because nothing else actually gives better chem. And I want those two guys to get more ice time than both Blankenberg, who's already 24, and good Branson, who's just honestly an absolute just salary cap dump. $4 million, 4 years. I didn't understand that signing when they did it. I still don't understand it now. I actually should mention too, with Bokus being low elite, you can see Chinikov here is also low elite, and that's why I've actually got him in the top 6, as I find the low elite players will often grow a lot more if they actually get those NHL minutes. So hopefully, giving that to Chinikov, he'll actually reach that elite potential for us, opposed to, turning into a bust. Goaltending-wise, speaking of bad contracts, whereas Lincoln's here, 81 overall, making $5.4 million for the next 5 years. That is such a bad contract for us. So either he's got to play a lot better, go up in rating, or we're going to have to buy out the contract, maybe even trade away if we can. Taraslav backing up's okay. In terms of the power play 1 actually looks pretty good there. Roslovic, Laine, Johnson, Gaudreau, and Werenski, they get a +5. Power play 2, obviously, is not going to be the best. Former power play 1 as well is very solid, gets the +5. Former power play 2 is alright. PK, definitely not going to get as good at chemistry, but I feel like best case scenario for this team, our top line and some of our other offensive players are putting up a good amount of points so they actually grow after this season, whereas overall as a team, we're losing most games, I would say 7-6, something like that. So we're not getting wins, but our players are producing, and like I said, helping them to grow and reach their potential. AHL-wise, the first line's actually nasty. Kirill Marchenko, Cole Sillinger, Liam Foudy. Hopefully that'll be like a solid line for us in the future. They're getting +1. They're all younger. They're all like, high 70s. I feel like it's better for them to be in the AHL than the NHL right now. After that, you got Ty Angle, and that's kind of about it. Defensively here, though, we do have David Jaracek, 18 years old, 77 overall, melee potential. So ideally, him and Werenski end up being like our future top D pair with Jarczyk in the high 80s. HL goaltenders, you got Hudson and Gillies, just two, veterans there. Really not, anything of the future. Now, I should mention to you guys with prospects, some guys not in the NHL or AHL. You got Matachuk here, 70 overall, high top 4, currently playing for Moose Jaw. We also got Karsten Kuhlman's here, currently unsigned, 72 overall, medium top 4 potential. He's got the Thunderclap X Factor, supposed to have a very powerful shot. And then Jordan Dumais here, led the QMJHL in scoring. 18 years old, 66 overall, medium top 6. Actually meant to give him an X Factor because he did, lead the league in scoring and a little bit of a ratings boost too. But again, I feel like this makes it even tougher for us without that boost. So I'm fine with it, but definitely something I've got to do in the future. Now, in terms of the draft pick situation, we got an extra 3rd, an extra 4th. That's about it. So really, we got to tank here. We got to get Connor Bedard. Like I said, that's our #1 priority this season. I'll show you guys the coaching staff. We actually lucked out here, starting off with an A overall head coach in Sivret. And as you can see, A+ for teaching is huge for a young team. A coach influence as well, very important. You can see there the teaching specialties veterans, which I don't know if that's the best for this team, but for him being our starting head coach, I'm fine with it. Also, to you guys, I'll show you the scouting situation. Pretty much the same as it always is. I hit the most important leagues, make sure my guys got an A+ in that region. So Russia, 2 Liga, 2 SHL, Extra Liga, National, Dell, 2 in each US region, 2 in each CHL league as well. Now the WHL guy, he's only an A as his overall A-, so I'm going to try that and maybe he'll be like even better because he got the high overall. Also to you guys, I'm already looking at some contract extensions for a couple young players, Alexander Texier as well as Chinikov, and this brings me to actually a new rule I want to have for this franchise mode series, or at least potentially have. You guys let me know in the comment section if you like it or not, but people are saying to make it a bit more challenging and so I can't do things like 8 years, $1.5 million for Chinikov, and he ends up growing to be an 86. I've got to sign guys to the years they want. So Chinikov here, he wants 2 years. We'll give him a 2-year deal. Normally, I would have done like the 8 years, 1.5, because it's worth the risk. Texier also wants 2 years. We'll try and save a little bit of money on him. Honestly, both those guys, if they grow a bit, that's still really good bridge deal contracts. Also, so you guys can see currently in the preseason, we're 4-1-1, which is actually a really good record. Luckily, it's only preseason. Roslovich there, 7 points in 6 games. All 7 of those are assists. I'll show you our ratings here to start the year. Don't actually plan on doing any trades quite yet. I want to get a kind of an idea, I guess, where this team is going to end up. So we've got 85 offense, 86 defense, and 78 goaltending. Obviously, the goaltending there definitely the weak spot of this team. When this team is healthy, do they still finish bottom 3 in the NHL? We're going to find out. There we go, guys. Chinikov accepted the offer. Same with Texier. So if those guys grow, we got them on very cheap bridge deals. And how funny is this, guys? The Chicago Blackhawks are offering us Seth Jones back with a 3rd-round pick for 2 seconds after giving up, 2 1st-round picks plus Boqvist for him. Now, I don't want to be mean to Seth Jones, but $9.5 million, 8-year deal. I think he's 86 overall. It's just way too much cap. I wouldn't mind eventually bringing him back, but right now, with a rebuilding team, just makes no sense. And now, at the end of December here, guys, we're currently 10, 22, and 5. So we'll take a look. We have 25 points, which actually does put us last in the NHL. Okay, so that's perfect. We are right where we want to be. Werenski there is actually our leading scorer, so that's kind of concerning. Gaudreau and Laine are not, doing better than him. He's got 29 points right now in 37 games. AHL-wise, Sillinger, 24 and 29. We'll take that, although the AHL team isn't doing the best. Luckily, we still got, time to win a Calder Cup. That's not a big deal. Now, this is kind of interesting, guys. The New York Islanders are playing so terribly. They just fired their head coach in January. They're actually 2nd last in the Metro Division. I'm not sure why they're sitting so bad. They have one of the best goalies in the game. Luckily for us, we're still doing worse than them, though. Now, Chicago making us another offer. Connor Murphy this time with a 3rd for a 2nd and a 3rd. That's actually a pretty good offer if we were a competing team, which we're not. Murphy, kind of like a better version of Andrew Peeke, honestly. Just like a solid defensive defenseman. Malatesta there, 2/3 for Andrew Kopp. I feel like I don't need Andrew Kopp in a $6 million deal. Sorry, Yzerman. So we're at the trade deadline here, guys. Record of 22, 34, and 6. So we're doing what we set out to do, but look at this. The Islanders are actually tied with us now. We both have 50 points, and they've actually played more games, so that's why they're below us. I can't believe it. The Blackhawks have 48. So it's definitely like a tight race here to get Connor Bedard. We're going to have to sell pretty hard at the deadline. But usually you can get more for your players at the deadline once teams know that they are, going to be making the playoffs. They're more willing to give up those 1st-round picks. And honestly, too, on the flip side of that, you can usually get players for cheaper once teams know that they're selling and they have their guys on the block. Just kind of the way the game works. They promote trades at the deadline. Gaudreau here's got 52 and 62, so good to see him having a solid year. Sillinger there slowed down a little bit in the AHL, 39, 59. That team is still last, actually, in their division. Okay, so we got to be busy here at the deadline. We got to make the right moves to make sure Obviously, we're a full-on seller, but I was going to say make sure we at least stay in the bottom 3. Now, DeBrinket's available with the Ottawa Senators, which is kind of crazy because there's actually a decent chance he gets traded in real life if he's not willing to re-sign with them. Varlamov, Seth Jones, Parayko, Perron, Falk, Krug, Shen, and Skinner, and Taze. As you can see, the St. Louis Blues there just kind of full selling. They got 4 of the guys in the top 10. And now, obviously, we really don't have a lot left to sell. It does suck. You can't move picks in this game, and I'm using my roster, so we don't have, like, the LA first-round pick, I think it was, that Columbus got in real life for Gavrikov. So we're going to have to make, you know, the moves we can here. If we could somehow get rid of Goodbranson, like, without giving up anything, I would definitely do that, because, you know, whenever you can shed salary, you got to take advantage of that. And now, right here, guys, trying to make a pretty minor trade with the Chicago Blackhawks. Sean Corrali for a 7th-round pick. Basically, say an overall grinder, making 2.5 for the next 3 years. That's a lot of money. I don't mind trading the contract. And we're trading him to Chicago, who I'm hoping like he'll somehow give their team a boost so we can do worse than them. It's kind of like, you know, a twofold trade. Only getting a 7th-round pick back, but still, I've gotten some pretty good prospects for in the 7th round. We'll see what they say here. Trades accepted, all right. Marchenko probably will keep in the AHL. I'll just call up, you know, some of their grinder. All right, guys, now next year I'm trying to get creative and get Jeff Skinner from the Buffalo Sabres. He's making $9 million for the next 5 years. He's on the block. 85 overall, so he's actually like a decent player. Definitely somebody who can kind of help with the rebuild. He'll only be 35, you know, 5 years from now. So still relatively young. Goodbranson, though, 4 more years at $4 million. Like, he doesn't, you know, help our team if we're actually trying to compete. Merzlikins, 81 overall, making $5 million. I don't like paying 86 overall goalies $5 million in this game, let alone 81. So we can actually bring back a decent forward for $400K less. I think it makes sense. I am throwing in a couple 3rd-round picks because Skinner had more value. We'll see what the Buffalo Sabres say to this. Trades rejected, but the value just isn't there. Okay, I kind of figured the 3rds wouldn't be enough. Maybe we do like 3rd this year and a 2nd, say, I don't know, 2025, like way down the road. Do they say yes now? Trade still rejected. And I feel like that's the most I'm willing to go up for this trade, so we'll have to, you know, find something else here to do with these 2 contracts. Now, next year, guys, making one more small trade, the Arizona Coyotes. Eric Robinson for a 6th. He's making $1.6 million as an 80 overall player, which isn't too bad, but definitely could replace him in free agency. And the big thing, again, kind of like the Blackhawks trade, just trying to send over the Coyotes a decent player to help boost their team ever so slightly. So hopefully, you know, they play better than us. As you can see there, they do accept. And so the trade deadline is now complete, guys. I know at least one blockbuster happened. Let's see. Korczak there goes to the Senators for a 5th, a 6th. The other 2 must be something a bit better. Islanders trade Engvall to the Wild. Our trade there with Robinson. Monahan to the Red Wings. Chicago gets Brock Faber. Minnesota gets Jonathan Toews. Very interesting. So, just like real life, he does not stay in Chicago, although he does leave a little bit earlier here in game. Seattle gets Jacob Trouba from the Sharks. So he went from the Rangers to the Sharks to the Kraken. We'll see what the trade was. The Red Wings there got Colton Parayko. They also got Brandon Saad above. Sharks there traded Andreas Janssen for Trouba. And they also get the Sharks Matthew Robertson. He's like a pretty decent prospect. So basically it looks like a kind of a cap dump. Rodion Amirov there, the Penguins. Athanasiou to the Panthers. Matt Dumba to the Leafs. Matthew Nyes to the Blackhawks. Interesting. With Matt Murray. Dubas is getting busy. I'm trying to find that big trade. There it is. Alex DeBrincat for Luke Hughes. Are you kidding me? No way does New Jersey break up the Hughes brothers before they have a chance to play together. Charlie Cole there to the Sharks as well. Matt Benning to the Jets. Suter there for the Wild for Lambos. That's actually a great return for the Red Wings. I wish in real life. Andrew Kopp to the Preds. Brandon Brisson to the Islanders. What is Vegas doing? They get Oliver Wahlstrom back, though, and Scott Mayfield. Now, they also get Lucas Cormier, so Vegas looks like they're kind of going all in. And so after the trade deadline, guys, here's an updated look at the team. The top 6 are the same. 3rd line actually gets a +2 now. It's Texier, Danforth, and Bemstrom. 4th line there is Olivier, Angle, and Gaunt. In terms of the defense, I think that's no change either. Of course, goaltending is also the same. And in terms of the AHL, I don't want to break up that first line. I feel like they've been playing well, and we actually got, you know, +1 the next 2 lines. Probably still going to get last in the AHL, but that's all right. And we're now the season here, guys. Record of 28, 45, and 9, which is good for 65 points. 7 below the Islanders, but I like to see. And the Blackhawks get 69 points. Nice. That actually means we did lock in last place. We had the best chance for Connor Bedard. I know the game hates you, though, so when you sim, so we're probably not going to get him. AHL-wise, we're also last in the division. That doesn't really do anything for us. Sillinger there, 54 points, 69 games, not too bad. Goudreau, 74-82, pretty close to a point per game, playing with Laine and Johnson. I don't mind that. Renski there at 68, love that from the D-man. -15. Roslovic only -1, put up 60. Could definitely see him get up to like 84. Laine 59 is not too bad. I'd like to see him, you know, putting up closer to a point per game though. Boone Jenner over 50. I'll definitely take that for like a 2-way guy who's very, very solid defensively, physical as well. Kent Johnson only 45 points. I mean, I know he's an 80, but he had 21 minutes of ice time, decent stats there. 88 offensive awareness. Playing between Liney and Gaudreau. I expected him to do better, honestly. Chinikov's 43. He's actually already an 80, so that is a good sign, hopefully, of things to come. Boakvist 22. Still at 81. Merzlikins here. 911 save percentage, 309 goals against. I don't know if it'll be good enough to give him a boost, but you never know. In terms of the AHL, the goalies, I mean, we don't really care about these guys. They actually had decent numbers, though, for the last place team in the division. Marchenko, close to 50. Same with Foodie, 46. He's actually the oldest of the bunch, so we need him to kind of start going here. I'd like him to eventually get to like a low 80, be a bomb 6 guy for us. Jared Check there, 31 points. And now in terms of the entire league, no surprise here. Connor McDavid, 112, leads the league. Draisaitl right behind him, 110. You then have McKinnon, 104. Ovi, Tarasenko popped off with the Rangers. Same with Panarin. Hyman, 92, must have just been on the line with McDavid, Draisaitl, Pastrnak there, Eichel. Most goals here. Connor McDavid wins the Maurice Richard just like in real life. Roman Josi, most points for D-Man, 86. So that is cool to see. Goaltending-wise, Allmark there, the most wins, also like real life. Best save percentage here for a starter. Looks to be Allmark as well, 922. And then the best goals against, I'm guessing it's going to be Allmark, yeah, 2.4. 72 games played. Honestly, it's pretty ridiculous when they got Jamie Swain behind him. Like, I don't think I've ever seen Allmark play that many games. Like, that is honestly kind of crazy. Rookie skaters here. We had Ken Johnson. Matty Beniers, though, put up a point per game with the Kraken. Wow. He just went off. That is very impressive. Kuzmenko as well to Canucks. I think real life, he's technically not a rookie. Berggren there, 51 points. Cool to see him actually playing that well. McTavish, Quinn, Dylan Gunther there. Lucas Reichel, who actually had the same point total as Johnson. Paterka as well there. So, obviously, some very good rookies up and coming. Now, look at the entire league here, guys. The Florida Panthers actually won the President's Trophy 112. I would have thought for sure it was the Boston Bruins. They get second. And we'll take a look here. You can see all the different teams. And somehow, after the trade deadline, our team was able to find a way, secure last place. 65 points. Blackhawks next closest there. 4 above. Let's see. Goals for here, worst in the league, was the St. Louis Blues. We were actually the 5th worst in goals for. Goals against, Bruins were the best. And we were not even the worst. The Coyotes were. We were the 5th worst in goals against. So, I mean, I'm actually kind of surprised. We were, only the 5th in both of those. So, because we're not even in the playoffs, the AHL, guys, I will just sim through the playoffs here. And, of course, get to the moment we've all been waiting for this episode. Do we get Connor Bedard? Do we win the draft lottery? I don't think ever a draft lottery has mattered so much because we really need him. I think first line center between Gaudreau and Laine, that line could dominate the NHL. Put up, similar point totals to that McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman line. And so the playoffs are now complete, guys. And the Carolina Hurricanes actually won the Stanley Cup with the Iowa Wild there, winning the Calder. It's going to come up here in a second, guys. Let's go! Let's go! Are you kidding me? Let's go! There is justice in this world as we hold on to the first overall pick there. We were bad for Bedard, the baddest team in the NHL, and we actually get him. That is awesome. I feel like this game just always wants you to lose whenever you finish last. Doesn't want you drafting Bedard. Somehow, some way, though, we made it happen. That is amazing. Don't have to, trade up if we were going to have to do that. It would have cost, a ton of picks and stuff. Looking at retired players here, we shouldn't have any. Basically, all LTIR guys. Kessler there, Little, Seabrook, Bozak, Russell, Advocator. Yeah, really, no actually current NHL players at all, I don't think. Even Joe Thornton there, we obviously would see at the top. So he's coming back like a 43-year-old, or maybe even 45 at this point. We'll get to the draft, guys, and draft Connor Bedard. I can't believe we actually get to do this. You can tell from my voice, I'm so pumped. Connor Bedard, come on down. I'm not going to overthink it. Although I guess we should, take a look at the draft class. Just in case, we got some gems here. Michkov, doesn't really help us out. Herabel, 59. If we can't get him, I wouldn't mind. Zach Benson doesn't really help us out. Same with Sala, Carlson. So no actual gems. Although this guy here, Leslie is not medium elite, though. I don't even think he's medium top 4. So that is, our scouts are wrong on him. I will say, though, Callum Ritchie, end of the first round. That's actually really good value if we can get him around there. Isaiah Urquhart's a made-up goalie. He could actually be medium elite. He's going to go early 3rd round. Also to this American defenseman, Hudson Morrison, 115. And Kimmo Timonen here, Finnish winger, also could be medium elite. Those would be some absolute steals. We also got Lorenzo Fraser here, guaranteed low elite. He's going to go 7th round. That's a steal too. And Jeff Bertuzzi here, early 2nd round pick, guaranteed medium top 6, 1 year NHL ETA. Yoink and quick pick, similar style of Joe Nieuwendyk. Zarkov there, also guaranteed medium top 6. this draft class is pretty stacked, which again is why we have it on low. But anyway, guys, we got 30 seconds left here, so don't want the computer to somehow mess this up. Connor Bedard, come on down. Newest member of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Let's go. 85 overall, high franchise, right out of the draft. And our next pick's number 33. I'm hoping Callum Ritchie's still going to be available, because if he is, that'll be a steal. So Fantilli goes 2 there, 81 high elite. Michkov 3, 78 high elite. Then Carlson, 77 high elite. You get the made-up Svitov there in Quenneville, Will Smith, Benson, Crystal there, Dvorsky, Sala, Barlow, Moore, Leonard. This draft honestly looks pretty realistic. We'll see if there's any like made-up medium elites that go late first round. Doesn't look like it though, so that is good to see. And okay, Callum Ritchie is still available. We are making out of this draft like bandits, so I know he's medium top 6, not medium elite, but still. First pick in the second round, Callum Ritchie, yeah, 65 medium top 6, puck on a string, tape to tape. That is a great pick. And now next year, guys, I'm actually giving up on Liam Foudy. As I mentioned, only 77 at 23 is not the best. Adding a 3rd and 6th with him to actually get a second-round pick from the Montreal Canadiens to try and get that Joe Nieuwendyk prospect. Montreal says yes. So I think, you know, especially after drafting Bedard and Ritchie, we'll be okay without Foudy. And so just into our pick here, guys, he should be available. Jeff Bertuzzi, come on down. And 74 medium top 6. 10th pick in the second round. That's a steal. He does have Yoink and Quick Pick. Let's go. So yeah, this guy I think is going to be a stud for us in the future. And you guys can see here, Taylor Melendijk just got drafted with the pick before ours. I also got Dvorak going there, Oliver Bonk, Caden Price. So pretty cool second round. I was actually re-looking at the first round. Somehow I totally missed the Leafs picking 8th overall. Don't know how they had such a bad season. That's pretty funny. And they do walk away with Zach Benson, which isn't too bad. Now, next pick here, guys, 65. I'm really hoping the goalie we want is still here. And I believe he is. Yep, Urquhart. Hopefully he's medium elite, because we kind of have no good goalie prospects. And he is medium elite. Only 48 overall, but, I mean, definitely we're not in a rush or anything. So he could end up being a sick goalie for us. It's a little bit low rated, but I'm definitely happy with it still. And so just into our next pick here, guys, end of the third round, or at least kind of second half of the third round, I should say. That guy could be medium elite. Leslie, I know, is not medium elite. So just going to go to our pins here. I think our next pinned guy is actually this Tumanen dude, supposed to go 108. We are picking him a little bit early, but in this game, like, I can't even get a 7th round pick to drop back 20 spots, so I just kind of have to take him. Kimmo Tumanen from Rogel, 49 medium elite. This is a draft for the ages. Absolutely incredible. Next pick here, number 97. Can we find, like, I don't know, the next McDavid? The next guy to go on our board is going to be Morrison. Could be medium elite, 117. Let's go. And he is medium elite. Wow. This draft, I don't know what else to say. Like, this draft's absolutely stacked. Like, we literally are building the dynasty of this team all in one draft, all in one go. Next year, I could take this Chen guy, 50-50 medium elite. NHL ETA, guaranteed 5 years. Good chance to have ankle breaker. Or we could take this guy I have pinned because he's got a funny last name, Peacock. What's his NHL ETA? Probably 5 years and no X Factor. I feel like we should go with Cheng just because if he does have an X Factor, he'll have more value. Come on. And are you kidding me? This is a guy I honestly wasn't even going to take. 49 medium elite. We can't miss.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
We can't miss. This is absolutely incredible. And our next pick here, guys, is actually the first pick in the 6th round. Here I'm going to take that Peacock dude. If he's medium elite too, I don't even know. I guess, is he higher rated? Yes, slightly than the Fraser guy. Okay, he's not medium elite, but still. We had like an insane run there. 50 overall, medium top 9. Cannot be upset with that. Still in the 6th round now, actually only like 4 picks later. Probably going to go with the other guy who was around the same rating. Fraser there, 201. Come on. And I guess he was already guaranteed low elite. 49 overall, power forward. He ends up being a player. That's awesome. And we actually have back-to-back picks here, guys, at the beginning of the 7th round. I think that's because we got the Coyotes pick there. So the first one we'll do is Lots, guaranteed low top 4. At this point, it's a very good pick. 51 overall. And then next year, we'll take a chance on that other guy I had pinned. Tan, if he's medium elite, I mean, come on. Medium 7th, alright, so that's the first guy we missed on. It's in the 7th round. I'm not even upset. And so the draft's now over, guys, and I mean, look at that draft class. Just to kind of refresh your memory, we didn't get somebody that wasn't medium elite, aside from Bertuzzi, who was a 75 medium top 6, until the Peacock pick. So Bedard's high franchise. I guess Ritchie as well, medium top 6, but he's like a very good one, being like 65, a couple X factors. Then Urquhart, Tumanen, Morrison, Cheng, all 4 of those guys are medium elite. Like, what an absolute run. Even some of the late picks were still solid. Like, this is a great draft class to build our future around, especially, you know, with the guys we already have. in Line, Goudreau, Werenski, Johnson, Jarachek, Matachuk. The future's looking bright for the Blue Jackets. I'd say really the biggest question with this team now is just who's going to be in goal for us when we're actually competing for Stanley Cup in the future. So next year, re-signed phase, we got almost $25 million. Bedard, obviously, we're going to have an NHL next year. Not going to pull a Blackhawks. I think it was the last franchise series. They actually had him go back to junior after drafting him first overall. Like, I could not believe it. Also, too, guys, I want to point out some rating changes. So, Werenski's actually at 91 now. He went up by 1. Boone Jenner as well is at 86. I think he was like 83, so he got a +3. Roslovich was an 82. He got a +3 as well to 85. Chinikov was a 78, now an 83, so we got a +5. Johnson there, we got a +3. He was an 80. Bean and Boquist, I think both went up by 1. So really awesome to see that growth. In terms of the goalies, Merzlikins actually did go up by 1 rating. Okay, so if you can kind of slowly keep going up here, definitely make the contract not so bad. Don't want either of those AHL goalies. Honestly, I don't even want these two either, but not really worth buying out. Maybe we could trade them at some point. I'm thinking we'll try and sign some good young AHL goalie. Usually some become available even if they aren't in the first year. Within the next couple. And what's crazy, guys, after adding Bedard already, we got like a solid top 6. Johnson actually would currently be the 7th guy, but I think, honestly, even though he's 86 overall, I feel like I put Jenner 3rd line center. Just doesn't really have that offensive prowess as like, you know, a Chinikov or a Johnson should end up having. The thing is, though, we still do have a huge question mark on D behind Werenski. We really don't have much there, so we're going to have to get, you know, somebody in free agency. Also, that could press a contract I just hate looking at. Now, of course, your Kuhlman's here needs a contract. Definitely signing him, one of our better young prospect defensemen. All right, guys, so basically all I had to do was re-sign AHL players like Fix Wolansky here. Definitely one of the cooler names I've seen. Olivier will probably just be like an AHL enforcer. I don't see him being an NHL this year. Bjork I brought back the HLD, same with Bernie. All these guys I probably didn't need to, but it's kind of just like erring on the side of caution. Bedard there again. Can't wait to see what he does between Goudreau and Line. Kuhlman's there, definitely with the AHL decor as well. After all those signings, we still have almost $25 million salary cap space because we actually didn't really sign any NHL players, I don't think. So we'll be active in free agency. I feel like winning Bedard first overall, immediately, like, we're no longer rebuilding. We're now like a hopeful team, especially since, as I mentioned, this year Columbus would not have finished bottom 3 if it wasn't for all the injuries they had. So we do have that foundation to work behind. We've had a lot of growth. I feel like we can already start to put this team together, building a Stanley Cup champion for the future. Obviously, when all those like medium leagues we have start coming through, that'll be huge. Again, just like look at all to work with. I mean, these 349s here, I know they're low rated. Drafting them in the 4th, 3rd, and 4th round is just such steals. As we're heading to free agency now, guys, very curious to see who's available. Obviously, a lot of the superstars like, you know, your Pasternaks, your Larkins have already signed extensions in real life, so no longer available in game. But Tarasenko there, 91 overall. O'Reilly, Bertuzzi, Bergeron, Kane, Klingberg, Gostisbehere, Pacioretty. I mean, it's a pretty decent free agency class still. We could actually bring Gavrikov back, Ryan Graves. We do need defense. Pierre-Luc Dubois could also bring back, although, yeah, he's an RFA, so might be a little bit tough. I know he wants to go to Montreal. In terms of the goaltending here, Freddie Anderson's available, Semyon Varlamov, Antti Ranta, $2.6 million. Again, high rated than our goalie. And now look at this, guys. Luke Dostal's available, 23 years old, 80 overall, UFA. I don't understand this. I guess Anaheim just did not re-sign him. He kind of be the perfect backup. He's got potential. Merzlikins can still get the most starts in case he does, you know, play good again, get his rating up. 2 years is what he wants. We'll have to offer him 2 years at $1 million. Again, you guys can tell me if you don't want me to do that in the future. Now, I'm not gonna lie, guys. Looking through this free agency class, I feel like some of the prices are absolutely ridiculous. Don't really want to pay those because I know I'll probably, you know, need that money in the future for some of our guys. But someone like JVR here, 1 year deal, or actually he wants 2. He's 34. I mean, we could still probably trade him. 2 year deal, like 3.5. Put him in the top 9. I think if he produces, we keep him. If not, trade him away. Plus, like, that's a pretty good price. You can see, like, everyone above him wants a lot more money. Even some of the guys below, like, Trace Johnson's asking for $5 million after already being overpaid at like 4.8 or whatever it was he was making this season. Phil Kessel here, $2 million, 8 overall. I mean, I'd love to keep Kessel in the league. I'm not sure if someone else will sign him. I feel like they probably would. We could actually have him be like the other kind of winger. I'm pretty sure he played with JVR a lot in Toronto, so that'd be kind of cool, honestly. Let's do that just for fun. 2.2 for Kessel, 1 year. And so if both those guys sign, we still have about $19 million in cap space, and I feel like we really don't need a forward. Forward group looks good, plus, you know, I want the younger guys to get ice time. Now, defensively, though, we do need defensemen. Klingberg's all offense. We have Werenski for that. So, honestly, I feel like we could try and bring back Gavrikov. It does sometimes happen in real life, not often, though. He goes to LA, gets a little bit of sunshine. He's willing to come back to Columbus. Let's see. He's 27, so he's not that old. Only 83 overall, though. There's a steep price for, that kind of rated defenseman. Shankirk, 85, older, two-way defenseman. Puck shots as well. Gostisbehere, another kind of all-offensive defenseman, which, again, we don't need with Werenski. Orlov, though, 4.6, 84. That's a pretty good price for him. Maybe we go this way. We'll offer Orlov 4.75 or 4 years. Shankirk's 34. He wants 2. I think I'll wait before I make an offer on Shankirk because I'm pretty sure in terms of like the salary cap minimum, we should be at it. If the guys we made offers on all say yes. Also, too, guys, look at the coaching staff here. I do like the NHL head coach, as I mentioned, like A+ teaching is big, A coach influence. Pretty much, I mean, he's an A overall head coach. He's going to be solid. Now, I think I'm going to fire the associate and the assistant. As I remember someone telling me, like, to have, like, an A+ in the power play or PK for each of them, and they have neither. So, I feel like in that case, just going to get rid of them, obviously. We got last in NHL. I feel like it's quite reasonable. Goalie coach is an A. You want that to be an A+, so he's gone as well. And there we go, guys. Dimitri Orlov said yes. That definitely helps with the defense. I feel like between him, Werenski, Boquist, and Bean, the top 4 should be fine. JVR as well said yes, and Phil Kessel, okay. There we go. Luke Dostal too, so he'll be the NHL backup. I think Tarasov will just be the AHL starter, and actually I just remembered we can still use an AHL backup. Cap space there is 17 million, so I think we should be hitting the cap floor. I'm pretty sure the difference between the salary cap max and min is about 20 million. In terms of goalies, we'll look at 2 ways here. Potential, somebody here to be decent. 2271, Hunter Jones. Why is he not being signed by the Minnesota Wild? I don't get it. Yeah, definitely I'll give him a contract. Even Eric Portillo here, on the LA Kings, they didn't sign him as either. I feel like I've signed Jones before, so might as well go Portillo. He's got the X-ray X factor. Played for Michigan, he's a big goalie. Let's switch it up, get him under contract. And actually, guys, I just saw Eve Gascon's available in free agency. 20 years old, 56 overall, low starter. If you don't know, she's the girl that actually played a couple of games in the queue, so I could sign her for fun and see if she grows, because if she does, I think that'd be pretty cool. If not, obviously this is like no risk here, giving her an entry-level deal. And just to make sure we have enough goalies contract spots, guys, offering Greaves and a 7th here to Chicago for their 7th. Basically just gave him to them for free because, like I said, I want to make sure we have the spots to get our guys. I guess I should say guys and girls in this case. A couple coaches there said yes. I think they're both goalie coaches. When you hear back from the goalies, Gascon said yes. Sam Portillo, let's go. Like I mentioned to you, the associate coach, I think now, has A+ power play, and the assistant coach is A+ penalty kill. So that's the way to go. Goalie coach, A+ teaching. Of course, you want the A head coach. I think this team could actually be decent next year. And because we still have 10 contract spots open, guys, looking for some good 2-way players. Tyler Benson, Oilers did not re-sign. I'll give him a contract just to help with the AHL team. I feel like the AHL team clearly needs some help after last season. Actually, I see Simino here. He was a beast for us in the Oilers franchise. Might as well try and get him again. Cal Foote, I don't know. Why would Nashville not re-sign him? I'll do or I guess we have to do 1 year, 950K, because that's what he's asking for. Plus, he went up in price. Niederback, 1 year there, 775K. All right, guys, so unfortunately, Simino actually goes to the Nashville Predators there, or at least their AHL team. Niederback, though, said yes. Foote said yes as well, same with Benson, so just some reinforcements there for the AHL. And now the Predators here offering us a 3rd and a 4th for a 3rd, a 5th, and this dude's name, who I am going to butcher, Bjorgvik Holm. 2166, low top 6. He'll probably not turn out. And we're actually moving up 1 round from a 5th to a 4th, so I feel like I'll say yes. And this is just a classic AIGM, signing John Klingberg in the summer and immediately trying to trade him before the season even starts. Now this is an interesting one, guys. Marc-Andre Fleury, a 5th and a 6th for a 2nd and a 4th. I feel like I'm fine with where's Lincoln's for now. Let's see, what's Fleury's rating? He's an 86. He actually had a worse save percentage than whereas Lincoln's last year on a Minnesota Wild team that was pretty decent. I do know we still have to figure out something with his contract as well as Goodbranson, but I think Goodbranson, honestly, we'll still have to buy out maybe after this season or basically when we need the money. And then whereas Lincoln's, we have to hope really turns around his game. I was looking at the AHL team, guys, and I feel like we could use a centerman. And look at this. This Pilon guy's available. 25-78 medium top 9. And he's got insane hands, like 88 passing, 92 deking. Face-off there, 74. It's basically exactly what I'm looking for. So hopefully it works out well for us. And now look at this. Carolina Hurricanes offers a 3rd for 5th and Danforth. Danforth's in the AHL. He is a center, but I mean, 77 at 30. We can afford to give him up here to get a 3rd round pick. That's awesome value. So it's the start of next season now, guys, and I just realized I totally forgot to show you the awards from last year. I was way too preoccupied with winning the Bedard lottery. So as you can see here, as we know, Carolina Hurricanes in the Stanley Cup. Panthers their president. Hurricanes actually beat the Minnesota Wild there in the Stanley Cup final. Unfortunately, cannot look at the playoff tree as it's already the start of next year. McDavid, we know, got the Art Ross, his 3rd straight. He also got the Hart there. Carlson, James Norris, Panarin, Lady Bing, Matty Beniers got the call there. That makes sense, point per game. Pacioretty, Conn Smythe, so comes back from injury in this and leads them to a Stanley Cup. Allmark, of course, Vezina, he had unreal numbers. Also got them Jennings. Falk Thurble Masterton, LA coach Jack Adams, Couturier Selke, McDavid Ted Lindsay, and Maurice Richard. So just like in real life, he absolutely dominated the league. Iowa Wild there, Calder Cup, of course, we didn't even make the playoffs. Individual awards here, Eklund actually most points and MVP. Jake Neighbors there, most goals. Eklund also got best rookie, so he dominated his first year in the AHL. Lucas Johansson there, best defenseman. Dostal best goalie. And the Anaheim Ducks let him go to free agency. I mean, I feel bad kind of signing him now, but like, what is the AI thinking? Rossi there, MVP of the playoffs, that's cool. Cernick there, sportsmanship. Gross there, community involvement. And then Dostal also had lowest goals against. Come on. Also, too, guys, I mentioned at the beginning of the episode how I forgot to give Jordan Dumais an X Factor. Luckily, you can actually fix that in franchise mode. If you forget to change, like, a potential or rating, you cannot. But luckily, X Factors you can. I was thinking third eye for him just because, like, he is such a creative player, such a creative playmaker. It makes sense. So, the one X Factor there, definitely well-deserved again, leading the queue in scoring. Hopefully, you know, he's a big prospect for us in the future. Now, I had to call him up to the NHL to do this. I think once I send him back down, he'll be going back to the queue for one more season, which I think is probably good for him. And yeah, as you can see there, he's going back to the queue, so hopefully he'll tear it up again. And I would just get off here, guys, the Anaheim Ducks. Ryan Strome for 3rd and a 6th, honestly, is a pretty fair offer. I'm going to decline, though, because the team is set. We really don't need Strome. I kind of like the fact that we have, like, what is it, $17 million in cap space, or actually 18.8, so we should still be good in terms of being above the salary cap minimum. Obviously, that money will roll over into next year. We can use it in the summer. I feel like our best window to win a Stanley Cup is probably year 2, year 3 of Bedard's contract when he's up to like a 90 and he's still on an entry-level deal. So I'll show you what the team is looking like for year 2. Honestly, could be a playoff team. And if we're not, I won't even be upset because obviously that just means we're picking higher in the draft. So first line here, you got Gaudreau, Bedard, and Laine. Luckily, we were successful in that first year in getting him. Second line, Chinakov's down to 84, playing with Johnson and Roslovich. Looking like a pretty solid, you know, top 6. Third line even, Marchenko's up to 82, playing with Jenner there, and Sillinger. Hopefully Sillinger playing third line can grow a bit. Fourth line, you got JVR, Bemstrom, and Kessel. Honestly, even though JVR is like a sniper, he's actually got decent defensive awareness there and 90 strength. Like, I think he'll be okay as a fourth liner. Bemstrom as well is actually pretty solid. 88 D awareness there, 88 stick check. Defensively now, Werenski, Jaracek's the top pair. Jaracek's only an 81, but he's got the X factors. He's got the potential. I think playing with Werenski, he could grow quite a bit. Boqvist and Orlov on the second pair, and then we have Bean Peak on the bottom. In terms of goaltending, Merzlikins, Dostal there is the tandem. AHL-wise, we got Tarasov's down 80, Portillo there backing him up. First line's actually Texier. Don't really have a spot for him in the NHL team, so we could trade him. Could just fill in if we trade somebody else. You know, he's available. Pilon there, first line center. We got Benson who we signed. Angle, second line center. Malatesta, Niederbach there. Olivier, just like the enforcer. Defensively here, Cal Foot's actually up to an 81, so higher rated than Peak, but Peak's got the shot blocking X factor. He's actually got better defensive stats and physicals, so just made more sense for me to leave Foot in the AHL for now, especially because 1 year left. If we can keep him cheaper for another year, I think it's worth it. Paired up here with Nasco on the top pair. 76 low top 4. He's looking like he actually might be a player for us. Blankenberg, Kuhlman, second pair. Blankenberg as well, could be an NHL D-man, so maybe we'll move on from him. And then bomb pairing there, Bernie and Bjork. I've actually got good Branson scratch, because like, really no reason to use him. He doesn't really do anything except for hit, I guess, so I'm just going to wait him out, then, you know, obviously get rid of that contract. Svozil there as well is coming up. Not a bad, you know, defensive prospect. Obviously, play with Bedard on the Regina Pats. So the fact that we could have, you know, him in the NHL eventually too is pretty cool. So far, guys, I feel like the rebuild is on course. It's where we want it to be. I'll show what our ratings are for year 2. Definitely goaltending should not be a 78 anymore. And it's 81. Offense 94 is incredible. And we also have 88 defense. So yeah, team's coming along quite well. Starting to look better. We'll see what happens in year 2. If you guys enjoyed this one, leave that thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit some button down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a nice day. Goodbye.